Hello guys, welcome back to Rockdale. In this episode, I'm going to be building another kind of a separate detailing project in the Rockdale city or outside of the Rockdale city, and it's going to be this airport. So it's going to be built using the custom airport roads, as you can already see, some custom airport terminal from the workshop, and a lot of realistic markings, all the lines correctly, and the plane stands and stuff like that, and some, just details, props, and all that, while obviously trying to make the airport functional. Now, I didn't really want to build a big airport, so I chose an airport in Czech Republic, in the city of Carlsbad, as kind of a main inspiration for this airport, because it also is it's a very small one, although kind of important. It's an international airport for European flights, and it also has just one runway, and it's similarly shaped as the one that I'm going to build here. I also took some inspiration from different other airports, so it's not going to look exactly the same as the real life thing. Well, actually far from it, but just some elements are going to be very similar. So I built this airport completely separated from the city at first. I built it some distance from the well, at that time, the city. I obviously built the city a bit more since that. Actually, well, since the previous video, I think the previous videos were projects that I actually built after the airport, but I didn't really want to do the airport video before I finished all the locations around it, which I did just recently. Now, it's very important for me to do some real life research on real life places when I'm building these kinds of projects, and especially the airport, because I don't really travel much, that by air at least. So I'm not exactly sure how small airports look like, and every time I'm at an airport, I don't usually just look at these kinds of details and shapes of the area. So I had to do a lot of research, and I had a help on the Twitch stream when I was building this. I had a really nice help from a real life pilot who actually guided me through especially the markings, the process of making the realistic markings. So that was definitely very helpful. But even these parking lots and this like a bus area or just a drop off, like a taxi area or something like that, I was not exactly sure how that might look like. So I think I looked even at some airports from the United States. They definitely have, a lot of parking lots and, just places for cars, because that's kind of typical for American airports, it seems like. So I created just like a little parking lot there, and then I decided that I want to only allow buses and taxis in to the road right in front of the terminal. So just like that, doing some detailing there, which actually took me quite a long time. Like I was saying, I was not exactly sure how to do all the cars, where to allow certain cars and stuff like that. I actually decided that I'm going to do the buses and taxis only in one direction towards the airport, and ordinary cars in the opposite direction. So I built some kind of a K+R parking right next to the terminal on the opposite side of the road that allows buses, and then the taxi stands right next to the terminal. So there's two roads, as you can see, and the one closer to the terminal has the taxi stands. There were some other bus stops in the area. I definitely wanted to put more buildings in the area, so even some office complexes that you could have seen in the opening shot. It kind of made the area look more, more alive, I suppose, with more buildings. Now this area over here, that's some sort of like a maintenance area, I guess, for the airport. So it might have all kinds of warehouses for I don't know, airplane spare parts maybe, or even some office buildings, which might be some kind of, I don't know, barracks for the pilots or whatever you call it, something like that. Now, at this point, I really wanted to make the airport functional. So I just put all these custom airport roads there, and I deleted the roads that deleted connections between the roads that I don't want airplanes to use. I had a lot of trouble actually to get airplanes into the airport. I was not having very much luck with that, and I had to try a lot of things. And I also had to change the airways on the map so that they would go closer to the airport, and there would be more than just the vanilla 2 airways on the map. And after that, planes actually started landing on the airport, which was definitely very nice. I definitely wanted to have the airport functional. Now, I'm using a lot of custom lines like these, as you can see here. They were made by Vasimer, I think. He's a content creator in the workshop who's really focusing on all kinds of airport stuff, especially the markings, but even I think some other assets as well. And especially the, what are they called? The lights, the approach light system that I'm also going to build, as you could have seen in the first shot in the video. Now the runways, I definitely wanted to have different colors there and to do them a bit more interesting. I decided that I want to do the main runway with the more white-ish color to kind of make it into a concrete area, which I was kind of thinking that it might look a bit older, and some kind of newer places I might do with the asphalt, which is obviously darker. So kind of almost randomly, I just put the asphalt somewhere to just kind of make it look like the airport was not built in like one go, but it was maybe refurbished because, I don't know, because of increased air traffic maybe in the recent years. So maybe the asphalt means that, you know, the capacity of the airport just was increased in the past years or something like that. It definitely looks nicer. I definitely didn't want to have the airport in just one color, either the concrete or the asphalt, because it would just look kind of boring. So, like I already mentioned, I had a help from a real-life pilot who was definitely very nice, very kind in the chat, helping me with all the markings, especially the, like the stop, how do you call them, the stop lines before the runways and on the intersections of the taxiways and all that kind of stuff. So I was also looking at the real-life airports a lot, and I was trying to just copy things as precisely as we could. Now, that was not exactly that simple. Apparently, there are no like unified norms for these kinds of things. I did find the Czech norm, I think, for airports and stuff like that, but it had like, well, hundreds of pages. I didn't really feel like going through that completely. So I just looked at some smaller and bigger airports. I obviously look at the Prague airport as well. And that gave me some ideas, especially about the plane stands and the lines going towards them, you know, those kinds of areas. Now in here I was building something to just end the runway on the opposite direction. It was kind of like a turnaround place for airplanes, probably smaller airplanes I suppose. This particular element in the airport actually copied from real life. This, like a turnaround at the end of the runway, is from the Karlsbad airport. Probably not exactly how it is in there in real life, but I think it's close. And it definitely adds some, you know, something different, something nicely looking to the end of the runway. Now these red lines in here kind of symbolizing like the edge of like a people's area, kind of, where people are kind of allowed to go. At this point, I noticed that I actually don't have enough space for all those markings and all the plane stand areas, that planes would probably not have enough space to, you know, just navigate that place. So I had to just select the entire runway area with the taxiways and just moved it a bit further away from the terminal building. And it actually worked out quite nicely. I was a bit worried that I'm going to just destroy everything by doing that, but at the end of the day, it actually was fine. And it was definitely very, very much needed there. So we can actually have some, like a realistic space for the airplanes. So as you can see, we have 3 plane stands at the main terminal. Unfortunately, only the middle one is working. I decided to put like just like a prop airplane on one of the plane stands and leave the third plane stand open. without any planes there. Now, the game's behavior when it comes to airplanes is not exactly realistic at all. The planes obviously can, like reverse, for example. They are going way too fast into like turns and intersections, and yeah, it just doesn't look good. But I tried to put the airplanes or the stands kind of realistically, so it would be fine even with the game's performance. Now in here, I'm trying to recreate this, which is the Carlsbad Airport's plane stands for like really tiny aircraft, like the sports aircraft or something like that. You could have seen that in the picture there. So it's kind of like a, well, I'm not sure what this shape is, but yeah, this kind of a shape on the grass with the asphalt, well, just the ploppable asphalt, not really roads. This is obviously going to be purely decoration. And like I said, it's for the smallest aircraft. So it definitely felt like a nice addition to this place. Now, unfortunately, I should already mention one important thing. This detailing project, I don't have all the footage from the live stream. Yeah, I could say that we had some technical difficulties, but no, we did not. I just forgot to press the recording button. So most of the detailing is actually missing. I am sorry about that, especially the like putting all the wear and stains on the surfaces everywhere. That is missing. You could have seen that in the opening shot, in the cinematic shots. There will be like a bonus more shots of the airport, so you can see that, but you can't see how I made it. Anyway, in here I decided to make 2 more plane stands for like a smaller aircraft, maybe like private jets or something. And I decided to make them like this, kind of perpendicular to the main stands, and creating all these like taxiways with these yellow marking lines towards them. So as you can see, it was kind of a lot of work doing all that, but in the end, it definitely paid off. Definitely paid off. I was never really satisfied with the vanilla airports in this game. I don't think I even built it like in any project that I did, because the airports were just kind of too weird. The runways were too short, and the plane stands were just, very simple. Now, because the real-life pilot who actually helped me build this airport was a helicopter pilot, I decided to create a helicopter, like a hangar with some like outside stands or parking spaces. I'm not sure how they're called, and putting some prop helicopters in here in the hangar and in some of these spaces. I didn't really want to use the military aircraft, but I was actually not able to find any like modern recent helicopters in the workshop. Apart from that small training one, most of them in the workshop are military, and I didn't really want to do that. Now, at the on one side of the airport, I definitely wanted to have the approach light system. As you can see, I'm trying to do that in here. Now, the airport is located on the side of the river, so the airport, like the white lines, the white lights in like the straight line from the runway, they needed to go over the river, which is something that I was not exactly sure if it can be done in real life, but apparently it can. I found numerous examples of this kind of a structure actually appearing in real life, especially on like island airports near like seas and something like that. So I did that, and it definitely made the entire airport look really nice. And this is what I was talking about. This is the footage that was missing. I put all the stains, all the kind of damage to the asphalt and the concrete on the airport, and together with some like detailed markings, the numbers for each of the plane stands and stuff like that. Just doing some more detailing. Alright guys, so that was the entire build of this small airport. I thank you for watching. Let's enjoy some more cinematic shots, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you again for watching, and take care and goodbye.